Well, you got the Royal Commission that said way back in 1986 that in time if it came in, MMP would prove there was no need for it. The second thing is there's been a dramatic increase in the number of Maori in Parliament as a consequence. The third thing is the Maori Party behaviour has made it classically clear that they, as far as they're concerned, don't want the Maori seats themselves. That's why they don't turn up in Parliament. No, that's why they don't turn up in Parliament. And last of all, when you can see somebody like Pena Henare robbed blind, as he was in 2023, and you do nothing, there's nothing to defend, is there?
Is this the bottom line for you in coalition?
There's only one bottom line, has to be the broadcasting minister, after the next election. But if people give me the tools, I'll finish this job.
You didn't get it in 2017. What makes you think you give it
No, I made that promise in 2017 when I was at 90% in the polls. 19%, you remember that? Labor was on 20. Then they decided to duck off and vote for Labor. I'm saying to the people, if you want this change, vote for it.
Labor says that you didn't even bring it up in negotiations.
Beg your pardon?
Labor says you never brought it up in negotiations.
No, the greatest respect, as I said to the people back then, don't give us a micro right, expect us to fly to the moon. And they did. This time I'm saying to people in this country, if you want a dramatic, unified electoral system, vote for it.
You suggested at the time in 2017 that it wasn't necessary because the Māori Party had been voted out of Parliament. Is that a mistake?
No, I didn't say that at all. I did not say that at all. You go and give me the evidence for that. Unlike others, I write my own stuff.
Is this referendum race baiting?
I'm not listening to stupid questions anymore from Stevie One. I've got to tell you now. Get this through your head.
Why do the ACT Party would get rid of it through Parliament without going to referendum? Do you agree with that?
Beg your pardon?
ACT is saying that they would do it through Parliament rather than going to a referendum.
Where did they come up with that policy?
Just now.
And so
Next question.
Why do you need to do a referendum? Why not just do it?
Because I think the fact of the matter is that's how we got MMP in the first place. And who advocated MMP? Who argued for referendum? Well, you're looking at the only politician who did at the time, not these latecomers like the Greens, but I was out there from the late 80s saying there's got to be a change. And it happened in 1992, the first runoff, and 1993 in the final referendum that brought about 1996. So I'm standing on my credibility of this performance in the past on this matter.
But YTT has suggested that we could also have a referendum on the age of MPs. Do you find that offensive?
No, I think it's perfectly the case because age is not a matter of actually certain age the way you think. It's how you look. And he wouldn't survive it for 5 seconds, no.
He also says we should have a referendum on list MPs.
Look, the great thing about having Waititi in Parliament, he makes me look young.
Are you strong? Does this potentially have issues for the coalition? Like, are you strong arming Christopher Luxon in negotiations on this one?
I don't think you get what's happening in New Zealand politics. You're sitting here assuming that everything's going to be the same. Get one thing very clear, you're going to watch something in this political campaign, everything's changing dramatically under your nose.
Would it be a breach of the Treaty of Waitangi to abolish the Māori seats?
Eh?
Would it be a breach of the Treaty of Waitangi to abolish
Of course
the
it
Māori
wasn't, because it wasn't in there in the first place.
You just brought up.
Mind you, Ngāta did say he didn't want ever to see the Treaty of Waitangi statutorily recognised because the day after they could repeal it. And a brilliant guy like that knew something, not like these new turkeys in town.
What about Māori representation in Parliament? If you scrap the seats, does it risk losing the voice of Māori?
You got 27% Maori representation in Parliament now, way above your thematic group of 70% of Maoridom. This country's not 70% Maoridom. If you were Maori, half Maori and not non-Maori, we would even be 7% of the population. And so we're massively overrepresented now. Please take the advantage you've got, be pleased about that and move on.
Are Māori rights and interests being fairly represented by those Māori not in the Māori seats in Parliament?
Well, if you've got anybody that's done more for Maori that you can say than I have, please put up the record now.
Is that because you held all the Māori seats?
No. Put up the record now. Go on.
And you're happy for this to be on your record?
Because but everything I've done for Maori has been on the basis of need, not race.
And you're happy for this
That's the difference.
And you're happy for this to be on your permanent record to abolish the Māori seats?
Yeah, that's why I'm campaigning on it.
I understand there's more context to this, but what do you say to people that say it's hypocritical of you to campaign to have a referendum on the seats when New Zealand First won the seats in 19...
Yeah, and I learnt my dramatic lesson. I got them in, 5 members of Parliament, on blood, sweat and tears to help the Maori people, and they got in and they flipped the darn campaign and said that they were the A team and the rest were the B team. How do you like that?
What's changed now?
How quickly could we see a referendum?
Once I learned my lesson, never go back there again.
How quickly could we see a referendum if you had it your way?
Well, the Maori people and the people of this country will tell us that on election day, the 7th of November this year. Stand back and watch.
And if they return you to Parliament,
Yeah.
you're in a position to negotiate a
Yeah.
coalition,
Yeah.
how quickly will you want to see that referendum
Oh.
on the table?
To make sure that we will not have the same problem in the 29 election.
So you want to see it
We'll have a
during
unified.
the term?
We'd have a unified parliament. God, thank heavens for that.
And do you think you could do it in tandem with the 4-year government term, perhaps?
Oh no, excuse me. I'm not going to go and confuse things.
On
That's what the media do.
On an international issue, the
Do you realise that? Do you realise that it's Christian time now?
the Indian government has formally raised concerns with New Zealand authorities after Sikh religious processions in Tauranga and South Auckland were disrupted by Destiny Church. Are you aware of that? Are you able to tell us more about that?
Why don't you go and ask Destiny Church?
Are you aware though that the Indian government has raised it with New Zealand? What were their concerns?
Well, yes, I've heard about it. We're yet to address it though as a Foreign Affairs Department, and when I do, I'll let you know.
How would you? How
Well,
would you expect it
hang
to
on.
be?
How about we just find out what their concerns are before we start answering what
So
their
are
concerns
you
are?
not sure what their concerns are?
No, I'm saying my team's working on it as we speak.
Nicola Willis said
How do you
today-
do things in your office?
Just
You just go off the top of your head without doing any calculations, any work, or any research.
Nicola Willis said today in her speech that, quote, I will never suggest to anyone that a vote for ACT or New Zealand First is helpful. What do you make of that comment?
Who said that?
Nicola Willis.
What do I make of that comment? No. Speak in haste and repent at your leisure.
And,
That's what I make of that comment.
and she also said New Zealand First on the other side would be, she said that without ACT and New Zealand First, the National would have been able to move at haste a lot more on some of the policy areas. Is she right?
She's right, backwards.